Hi. So I'm going to talk about the trip to Betamore. Um, so I went to Betamore last year because I had Greg as a professor for the marketing class, and I'm going to probably compare and contrast the things that were different from this time compared to last time. So last time we went in, we got a little tour. We got to see classrooms and the whole kind of setup. That was pretty much the same as this time last week. So what Greg mainly talked, it was mainly Greg talking, and he had one other person talk at Betamore, kind of explaining what they did, how they were a incubator for upcoming businesses in the Baltimore area, and how they were a startup business helping startup businesses. So it was kind of like a catch-22, like how are we going to help ourselves while also helping other businesses. So Greg mainly talked basically about the mission and what they were doing. He was saying how they were trying to launch classes, so people out of college that had just graduated will be able to learn certain abilities and have more hireable skills so they can go out in the workforce and be a valuable member of society. So when we went last week, I thought it was very, very interesting that those classrooms were actually implemented and the classes were actually being given. They said that one class had already started and they were in like the 10th week, and there was actually a class going on when we were there. So I thought that was really cool to kind of see it go from the planning and implementation stages to actually seeing it being implemented. And this time around, I feel like Greg had more people. He had like his partner. He was talking about the classes and everything, and then he had his like assistant. Don't remember her name, but he had her talking. So it was more like Greg was kind of behind the scenes. So I feel like Greg has taken the ball and given it to other people and has kind of like entrusted them with his baby. I really do feel like that is what's happening. So I really feel like that Betamore and especially these field trips are very, very interesting. So I met Greg last year, and one of my classmates, actually one of my really good friends, just got an internship with him 2 weeks ago, and she had talked to him about having an internship, and he was like, oh, come in for an interview, and she got the job right there. So he had been talking to her about someone who could develop applications and stuff, and actually had an internship over the summer for developing applications. So he had kind of contacted me and was like, hey, would you want to do this? But unfortunately this semester I won't have time. But I possibly may have an internship or a job like for the winter and the spring, which I think is invaluable. Being able, I feel like being able to have the potential to meet someone like Greg at UMBC and have him as a professor so we can see how well you work with a team and exactly how you work, your work ethic. I think that is seriously invaluable, and I am 100% ecstatic and so excited that I decided to do this minor. Everyone I talked to, I say take entrepreneurship. It's the best fit for IS majors. You literally have to take 3 extra classes and you get so many opportunities. I'm gonna use Greg as my entrepreneurial for the term paper, and it's just I feel like just the connections you make are invaluable, because people always say that it's really networking and it's who you know, not what you know, which I really think is true. And the fact that I can be in contact with Greg, with you, Gib, or like Rosenfeld, they're just invaluable assets. And even if I don't get an internship with Greg, Greg knows tons of people. He is a wealth of contacts, and you can just kind of get in contact with other people. So I think that's really awesome. And I really do think that the people, my classmates who went to Betamore, kind of saw something interesting, because they really, Betamore is the first place to kind of put everything together and connect them and have it under one roof, which I think is very beneficial, because it not only saves like gas money and transportation and energy and stuff like that, but it also allows you to be more creative. And going off of what we learned this week, how creativity is being stifled by constraints, and what no means no. Greg took that and was like, why is it a no? Why can't we just have a yes? And why can't we put stuff under the one roof? We're going to start this company, see where it goes, and worst comes to worst, it'll fail and we'll learn something, and that's really what comes out of it, how much you learn. So that also kind of combines with the failure resume. I'm very excited to kind of start that because I feel like I'm a very positive person, so I always want to take my failures and kind of turn it into something good because they did happen for a reason. But anyway, that's off track. But going back to Betamore, I also really think that the fact that they have, like, what is it? You pay a membership. What is that called? I don't remember. You pay a membership to go there, and they really hand select people who are there, so they don't just, not anyone can just get in. They have to have certain criteria and kind of a passion and mostly focus on technology, so the people there will kind of help each other. It's not just like one's doing art and one's doing something else. They're kind of on the same ballpark, so everyone is feeding off of everyone, which I think is really, really cool. And I also think that the way the whole the way the whole office is set up is very awesome. It's open, it's very modern, it's like a place you want to be. You go in and you just want to sit down. It's a very comfortable place, and it puts you into a work mode. There's music always playing, and that's one thing that I noticed about Greg. Whenever he walked into class, he would have music playing, same as you did. It must be an entrepreneurship thing. But I really overall think that the Betamore field trip is extremely beneficial just because you get to see a company like that. You get to see a professor run his own company, and you also get to make connections because networking is really one of the most important things you can do in college. It's not what you know, it's who you know and how you present yourself, and that's one thing I'm learning. But thank you, and have a great night.